You may have damage on your land across the state, and you may be thinking about clearing some of that land. We have Randy Taylor here to talk about some of the safety procedures that producers need to be thinking about whenever they're running their machinery. Let's start with the chainsaw.
Well, I think the first thing, Dave, anytime we're running a chainsaw, we need to be thinking about, the safety apparel,
right.
The jeans, the ear protection, right. Glasses and all that. Those are all important things, but I think there's some other issues when we're dealing with debris that may be blown in or left over from storms.
Right. And in that, you have a mixture of metal, wood, trees.
It could be a lot of stuff blown together, and depending on what it is, especially with trees, we need to think about high potential for kickback,
right.
With the chainsaw, So we need to make sure we've got our guard with a brake on it that's going to lock the chain if it comes back, and so to protect us from that chainsaw popping back at us, because we're going to have a lot of stuff we won't know. Like when you're cutting firewood, you can see when limbs are in tension or
right.
they're bent and they're likely to come apart. So, proceed with caution when you're cutting into these things. Is one thing, you're likely to pinch the saw blade or have it kick back at you, or the limb, break loose and come at you as well. So those are some things, and as well the other items that might be in that tree. It could be from buildings, potentially some metal, sheet metal, barbed wire from fences. You don't know what all is tangled in there, so we really have to be careful for those other items that normally when we're cutting firewood we wouldn't be worried about.
Well, and this is a lot different than cutting firewood, but on both of them, a sharp chain is very important.
Maintenance is very key, and especially when you're coming into something that you might hit into some metal or something like that, then it's okay. It's time. We got to either change our chain or
right.
whatever, and make sure that we do have a saw that's functioning. Anytime with any tools, having your tools in good condition
right.
always makes the job easier.
Okay, now from chainsaws, let's move over to generators. There's a lot of things that you need to be thinking about whenever you use a generator.
I think the first thing to think about is what's the generator rated for.
Right.
You're not going to take a small generator like this and power much in your house.
Right.
But there could be some functions. So know what you need from a generator. What kind of power output do you need from the generator? Probably one of the big things is, depending on where we're using them in a storm aftermath situation, is ventilation. You've got the potential for carbon monoxide poisoning, so having the generator placed in a well ventilated area is really important.
Okay, and on a smaller generator like this, like you said, this won't power a house. A generator this size is more for maybe a freezer temporarily?
Yeah, you could probably run again, depending on how big the freezer was and how it's going to cycle, you could potentially run some stuff off of it that way. But again, there's a lot of good information out there we can't cover in a short period that folks can look at to make sure that they're sizing their generators correctly for what they want to do. The other thing that we may have is with the generator in a storm aftermath situation, we may be running a lot of extension cords from it.
Right.
And so making sure that we have the correct extension cord for what we're going to power. And if you're running them very long, you're going to have power loss in the cord. Right. And so it may take a larger cord, to move it very far, to move the electricity very far. You're
losing that efficiency in the cord. And how does it work? The smaller the number?
The smaller the number, the more amps you can run through the cord. So that's what you need to look at. So if you're running it very far, you're better off having a 12 gauge or a 10 gauge cord, right, for sure.
Okay, so, Randy Taylor, thank you very much. And for more information, you can check out our website that's at the bottom of the screen.